Hey guys, so I am making a lemon and lavender bar here. Figured why not do a voiceover for this one. Here I am just getting ready to measure out the oils. I didn't realize that the tops for these bigger bars, or bigger essential oils, were on super tight, so it took me a minute to get them off. Here we have lavender. Really, really like this lavender. It is nice and soft and soothing. I think I added like 0.3 of an ounce of lavender to this scent. I do a 10% ratio to my wax, and I do believe there was 6 ounces of wax in this one. Here goes the lemon. I just finished up using that small bottle. There wasn't much left in there. And then finished it off with more lemon essential oil. And it was an equal 0.3 and 0.3. So it's an equal ratio of lemon and lavender. Here, I have to get the cap open. These colorants came with a really narrow tip, and I didn't want to cut it and risk of that color coming out too quickly. So I'm just taking a paper clip, heating the paper clip up and poking it through. Works wonderfully. Here's me remembering that I needed to get the actual wax melting. So put that aside, get the burner out. I have already pre-measured out the wax, so there's 6 ounces in here. Try to get that thermometer in. You do not want it to go over 200 degrees. It can break down soy wax and it won't do what you want it to do. I went with a rose color for the actual colorant of this bar. And once it dried, it was beautiful. I absolutely love it. The only thing I didn't show you guys before this video was I took my molds and I painted in mica on the very top of the mold. So that way when I pour the wax in, hopefully that mica will stick to the wax when I pull it out to create a really pretty design. I think I added about 15 drops of that rose color and it turned out beautifully. I just added into my essential oils, and you want to add your essential oils in at 180 degrees. You want that higher temp because then the oil and the wax are going to blend and come together and you'll have better hot throws. All right, here we are. We're just over 180 degrees, so I'm going to take it off this burner and start stirring. For the next 2 minutes, all I do is stir. It is essential to at least stir your wax for 1 minute. 2 is the ideal, for, what I have found. I have not tried to mess with this yet. I haven't tried stirring for just 1 minute. It helps it also cool. You don't want to pour your wax into your molds or into shells at such a high temperature. You want it to come down to between 140 and 160. I have wax molds that can't, or sorry, wax shells that can't hold higher than 140, so they recommend between 140 and like 145. I pour into my silicone molds at about 150. I stop paying attention when it gets to about 155 and get my molds out in front of me and get them ready to go. So that way by the time I'm ready, that wax has finally finished cooling to about 150. Here I am just stirring away. You guys can fast forward if you want. I basically just stir the wax until the 7th minute, 7 minute, 30 seconds, I think. You're just incorporating the oils here, making sure everything's coming together nicely. And if you add a powder colorant, you want to make sure you stir that essential oil really, really well before you pour it in there. So that way it all comes out and there's no clumps. And then you want to continuously stir it for that 2 minutes to again ensure that everything comes together. I do, like I said, a 10% ratio of oil to wax. You can do higher if you want a stronger note in your wax. If you want to make you can definitely do higher. I have seen people go all the way up to 12% is the highest I've seen so far. You will know if you have put too much oil in your wax. Just like when you're mixing sugar into water, when it stops dissolving and just kind of solidifies at the bottom, that's how you know you have too much sugar in your water. Just like if you have too much oil, you won't know before pouring, but once everything dries, it will then have little pools of oil on your wax. And that's how you'll know that you oversaturated. I've stuck with a 10% ratio just because so far I have not had any pooling. All right, we're getting those wax molds over. I am so impressed with the chocolate bars I poured. I know you guys have been seeing me do the succulents. I did pour the succulent. I did that off video. I didn't record that, but I did not paint the succulent with mica powder this time. Every time I have done it, it has gone and the mica powder just doesn't stick. For some reason or another, I have not figured it out yet. But I took a chance and I put mica powder on the silicone chocolate bar molds. These originally are for chocolate bars, but they work wonderfully for wax melts. Obviously, if you use it for this, don't use it for food. Still just waiting for it to come down to the right temperature. For the lemon and lavender bar, I did a yellow and purple mica dust. I think we're almost there. All right, here I am checking it one last time before we get to that wonderful pour. This color looks gorgeous. All right, here we go, guys. We get that pour. Look at that mica dusting. I'm gonna do a part two, and you'll see where those silver molds come into play. But look at this color. It is just gorgeous. It definitely does not, this color, once it hardens and dries, the color is still just as pretty. And I actually did too much wax. And so after I poured these three, I ended up pouring some bunnies. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed.